Welcome. For those of you who have been joining us, welcome back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is going to unfortunately be our last live explorations, as next week on Tuesday, we are starting Mission Beyond. If you don't know what Mission Beyond yet is, get excited. It starts Tuesday. It's going to be your final 9 days of school, and it's all hands-on, fun things and activities that you're all going to be doing. Your teachers will remind you of it, but you are going to have an absolutely great time. But before we get to that, we have our live expedition exploration again today, and we have some guests today from the University of Dayton. How many of you have heard of the University of Dayton before? Raise your hands. Just a little north of us here, but they are the University of Dayton River Stewards. So they can explain to you a little bit about that, but please welcome Sammy and Natalie, who are the authors, illustrators, and really important pieces of the book they're going to share with you today and really give us an awesome lesson on what River Stewards are and what they did and how they discovered how to write a book and all of that. So we're super excited to have them. Just some few things for all of you. If you can all please mute yourself. I'm going to do my best to make sure you are all muted during this, but every time I have to mute everybody, I mute our speakers too, which isn't always the best thing. So if you could please mute yourself. If you do have any questions, we would be more than happy to answer them for you today. So what I would like you to do is in the chat box, you can write a chat to me. I will be the one who looks at all of them. I will answer some of the questions the best I can, but I will also pass along your messages to Sammy and Natalie, and we will try and get all of your questions answered in the program today. If I'm not getting to them and you're getting impatient, which is totally possible, there is a way that you can raise your hand in here. So if you go down to the kind of things in the chat, you can give me a high five, you can give me a mark, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, one of those, and it will pop up for me too, and I will be able to see it. So thank you, Andrew. I see the thumbs up. Great. That's exactly what we'll do. So again, if you do it muted, I know you're not here to listen to me, so I'm going to pass it along to our authors and illustrators, and I will come back at the end. But I'm excited. I got to talk to these two ladies yesterday, and I'm so excited for today's presentation. Mrs. Alexander's here. She was the one who brought this to us, so we're so thankful for her and her finding this awesome opportunity for all of you. So without any further ado, let's give Sammy and Natalie a big round of applause silently on your screen, and take it away, ladies.
Okay, well, we have a little presentation, so I'll share my screen with you. So is it all good?
Great.
Okay, so I'm Natalie, and I am part of the class of 2020 River Stewards, along with Sammy, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Sammy. I'm also a part of the River Stewards up at UD.
Yep, so we're just going to talk to you guys a little bit about what it means to be a river steward, kind of what we do, and how we created this book, and then we'll do a little book reading for you guys. So we are both river stewards, which is part of a 3-year-long program at UD, which is where we learn about our rivers and we care for and protect our rivers in the environment, because we really want to keep them clean, and we want to teach people about our rivers while also learning more about them ourselves. So you can see here, sometimes we do a lot of kayaking, which is really fun, but we also get to learn about the science behind the rivers and all the biology and the animals and plants as well whenever we kayak, which is really cool. And we get to work with a lot of people in the community and do a cool project all of us do a project at the end of our program, which is how we got to do our book. So yeah.
So here are some pictures kind of the things that we do a lot. So we really like to help neighborhoods around Dayton clean up their rivers and ponds. So on the left, that's a picture of me picking up trash at one of the neighborhoods near Dayton. So we went to a river cleanup with everyone in the neighborhood. So it's really important for us to work with the people in the community. And then on the right, we actually got to go on a trip where we got to stay on a barge, which is kind of like a houseboat that travels along the river. So that was in Kentucky. And we helped them clean up the river. And there were like a lot of big things like tires and stuff in the river. So we were helping them clean that up to keep our rivers pretty and beautiful. Okay, and then, so like Natalie was saying, at the end of our program, we do a project. So in our group, so there's me, Natalie, and then there's a group of 10 or so other students in our class that we work together on this project. So we decided that we wanted to write a children's book about the rivers and Dayton and all the people in Dayton, and really emphasize how we can keep our rivers clean so that everyone can be happy. And we wanted to write about the history of Dayton. So the river was a big inspiration for this book. And we really wanted to emphasize that you have upstream and downstream neighbors, which means that the river connects you to everyone in the community. So the river connects you to me, who goes to school up in Dayton. So if I put trash in the river upstream, it's going to flow downstream to other people. So that was a big inspiration for our book. And then we also wanted to talk about the animals that live in the river, because it's our responsibility to keep the river clean so that all the animals stay nice and healthy. So these are some of the animals that we included in our book because they're native to Dayton and the Rivers Bayou, which means they're in that area. So this was some of our inspiration.
Yeah, the next step, once we kind of decided we wanted to make a book about all of this stuff, was we realized we really wanted to include children's artwork from the area, because we wanted to create a children's book and we thought that would be really cool to incorporate that. And so we went around to different schools in the area, to kids just like you, and had them draw different things about the river and animals and what they thought the river looked like. And so you can see some of these here. We had them play with Play-Doh and pipe cleaners and do a lot of drawings so that we could see what people and kids your age think about when they picture a river and what they think is in the river. And so you can see we have like a Play-Doh fish up here and a few fish pipe cleaners, and we got a lot of different animals from kids. And so we wanted to make sure that once we took all the pictures of these, you'll see in the book that we incorporated some of these images into our book. So when we're reading, you guys should look out for those.
So these are some pictures of us actually creating the book. So once we got all the ideas from kids just like you, so kids your age were also artists of our book, we took all of their ideas and we kind of designed different pages. So everyone in our group got to design a page so we could get everyone's ideas. And then we also created a plot outline. And a lot of those ideas also came from other people in the communities around us. So we got everyone's ideas. So it wasn't just created by us, but we really got other people's and Dayton's ideas. And kids just like you, we got your guys' ideas. So then you can see here's all of us creating the book. And then once we had all those designs down, I had the opportunity to illustrate the book. And then I sent it to one of my friends who's really good with artwork on the computer, and she did some edits to that.
Okay, so yeah, you can see that was kind of our process for creating the book. So we'll do a book reading for you guys, and then if you have any questions, you can ask those, I guess, at the end.
before you start reading Natalie and Sammy, and those pictures were awesome of you laying the book out and all of that. That's incredible. Kaya just asked us, how long did it take you all from beginning to like thoughts of the book to the end of actually creating the book? How long did
It
that
took
take?
us about a year and a half, I think, so we spent a few months just thinking of ideas and what we wanted to do for our project. And then once we decided on a book, we then spent another few months, about 6 months, really trying to collect images and create our own images and figure out what we wanted this to look like. And then it took another few months of editing that version and then getting it out to people. So it's been about a year and a half.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you want to start us off, Sammy?
Yep, so the title of our book is Into the River by the River Stewards. And then we did a dedication page, so it's to all the stewards of rivers around the world and the people who have protected and preserved our rivers in the past, the present, and all those who will continue to do so in the future. River love.
Okay, class. Today we are going to learn about our local watershed. Can anyone tell me something about our river? Your teacher asks you, what does the river look like to you? You squirm in your seat as you try to imagine. You've never been to the river before. It's okay if you've never seen it. We are going to Riverscape Metro Park tomorrow.
After school, your mom asks you how you're feeling about the field trip. I don't really know what to expect, you say. In bed that night, you toss and turn. The mad river rushes through your mind.
Suddenly, you find yourself flying through the golden pink evening sky. Where am I? You exclaim. You look to your left and find gray-blue feathers where your arm used to be. You check your right arm and find more feathers. You turn into a great blue heron.
You look out across the sky and you see a beautiful bald eagle flying next to you. From up here, you can see how we are all connected through our watershed. We are all neighbors and must care for our rivers, says the eagle. You swoop down to the river when, bam, you check your wings to make sure you're okay. But when you look down, you see a furry brown paw. You can't believe it. You turned into a beaver.
You hear a voice call, "Welcome to your beaver dam." You turn around and see a friendly duck. The dam you live in is like the large ones humans make. Human dams protect their homes from flooding. Our region's human dams are special because they let fish and other creatures swim through them.
You say goodbye to the duck when, kersplat, a fishtail smacks you in the face and you go tumbling down the river. Finally, you regain control, but something feels fishy. You look down, instead of a brown paw, you see a sparkly fin. You turned into a rainbow darter.
You hear a yelp in the distance. "Help me, help me!" Turning around, you see a fellow rainbow darter, unable to move, trapped in the swirling trash. You rush to rescue your fish friend from the pollution. "Thank you so much," exclaims your new friend. You notice a turtle resting on a rock as you swim toward the surface of the river. Intrigued, you swim toward the turtle. That is a very brave thing you did back there. All animals, including humans, have needed water since life began, says the turtle.
The first known people in the watershed settled here over 10,000 years ago. If we want to have a healthy river for your fish friend and all other creatures, we need to take action. We need to work together with our neighbors. Remember, you're never too small to make a difference.
Gasp! You throw off your sheets and bounce out of bed. I can't wait to tell my friends about that crazy dream, you think. You run down the block to the bus stop. You don't want to be late for the field trip.
On the bus, you tell your friends all about your fantastic dream. You ask your teacher, what can we do to help our river? Your teacher tells you, there are many ways to help our river. The best way to start is to learn more about it. The river looks even better than you imagined. This is your river to love and protect.
You know you are a small part of this world, but you are going to make a difference. So yeah, that's the end of it. And then towards the back, you'll see we have a species page where we tell you a little bit about all of the different animals that we have in the book.
Awesome. So if you have any questions, that was really awesome. I mean, how often do you get an author of a book or authors of the book to get to read the story to you? That is really special. I know we've brought some to our schools before, so that's a really neat and awesome way. But, these authors have really come to us live today to give us a really, really unique experience. So I'm also going to send out a link to all of your parents who signed up for this. I'm going to send them a link of how you could buy this book, which would be really awesome. And I know authors really love being supported. It would be really neat. I know Mrs. Alexander, she can jump in here for a second, but I think it's really neat that right behind her, and I believe she's still in Cincinnati. What is behind you, Mrs. Alexander?
Actually, I'm not in Cincinnati. I am about an hour away from downtown Cincinnati. I'm in a place called Patriot, Indiana, and it sits along the Ohio River. And if I'm thinking correctly, there's a river that flows near Marymount and Terrace Park that's called the Little Miami River. And Sammy and Natalie, what river did you write about?
The Great Miami.
So the Great Miami. So the Great Miami, the Little Miami, all the rivers that surround our city flow into the Ohio River. And the Ohio River flows out of Ohio and it flows into Indiana and then Illinois. So I think the page that you said that we're all connected through these rivers and we have to take care of it is really important.
Awesome. So, my friends, I know Kaya has asked another question, so we'll ask that. But if you have a question for our authors and illustrators, please feel free to send them to me through the Zoom chat, students.
How do you totally do chat?
I can show you some of the parts of it that was.
That'd be awesome.
So a lot of this was illustrated by Sammy, and so you can see a lot of her drawings in here, and we incorporated some scrapbook paper that we had. But you can see here, there's some pipe cleaner fish. Those were all from kids.
All the trees are trees children drew.
Mm-hmm.
The flowers. And like the grass at the bottom, children were using paint to smear it. So that's actually their finger movements that they did in the bottom over there.
Mm-hmm. And then here, all of these fish are different Play-Doh fish.
And then the animals we chose too are the common ones that the children drew.
And ones that were all native to this area.
We do have another question in the chat. Again, that is the best way to ask questions. So we can do those. But our question is, how far can trash really travel in a river?
Do you want to do this, Sammy? Do you want me?
So the trash is never really going to go away. So wherever you put it in, it can travel all the way to the ocean. So it can travel as far as it wants to go until you take it out, until someone comes and picks it up to keep the river clean. But the trash won't just disappear.
And a lot of it can get stuck too in the river in different places. So it might not make it to the ocean, but it'll get stuck in a city along the way.
That's why it's really important when we litter that it doesn't go away. It doesn't just disappear. It's creating all this pollution in our world that's not good, and it harms animals, and it makes the rivers very dirty. So it's important to put your trash where it needs to go in the garbage can. So does anyone else have any questions? All right, I'll wait a few more seconds. Isabel, you put a thumbs up. I'm assuming that means it's going to be a question, so please ask us a question. Go ahead, Isabel, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, there we go. So this book is really cool and I really enjoyed it. But before this, how did you came up with the idea and I don't know.
The question is, how did you come up? You said you had to do a senior project and a capstone project in school.
Yeah.
And, maybe you could speak of some of the other projects that maybe previous River Stewards did, but how did your group of 12, I believe it was you two and 10 others, why did you decide a book is what to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to do on me, Natalie?
You should go, Sammy. You were part of this process more than I was.
Okay. So some of the other projects that people have done, a lot of people have gone to parks that are really run down and they've tried to revive them. So they've put in gardens and they've fixed the playgrounds. But we wanted to do something that would last a really long time, that people would always have access to. And a lot of people, so in our group, thought reading was really important for kids and just everyone. And there's places in Dayton where a lot of kids don't have access to books, or books that are really relevant to them, that have really cool information. So we thought it was really important to make a book about rivers and important issues that are going on. So that was kind of the reason behind it. And a lot of us like working with kids. So that was another reason that we chose to do the book instead of some other projects.
I think it's pretty incredible. How many of you want to be authors when you get older? Raise your hands. How many of you want to write your own book? See a few hands out there. I think it would be really neat. Now they have the River Stewards. Does it have your name later in the book, so you actually have credit of that you wrote it?
Yeah, there's an acknowledgements page at the end that has all of our names on it. Very
neat. Let's see. I think I got so lots of questions about pollution and trash we're receiving. How big of a problem do you two feel pollution in the rivers is?
I'd say it's a huge problem because pollution in the river isn't just caused by littering in the river, it's caused by littering anywhere, because we all live in a watershed. Here, I can go to that page. And that means that whenever it rains, up on this hill, it's going to drain into this lake and go down this river and into the ocean. So if you were to drop trash and it rains, that trash is going to be picked up by the water and then it goes into the river and is carried. So it's a huge problem because any litter can potentially end up in waterways, even if you don't think you're close to one.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
So those of you who know me, I'm Mrs. Alexander, and those of you who don't, glad to meet you. But if you do know me, I'm at my weekend happy place right now, and we've owned this house in Indiana for 5 years. So I've seen 5 winters, 5 springs, and a lot of rainfall. And just like Sammy and Natalie were saying, when that water falls and pushes and brings along the trash or anything that anyone has littered, it is unbelievable what I will see float by my house sometimes. Things like coolers. We've seen things as large as refrigerators go floating by. Things that are so sad to the environment. But because so much of our world has been under quarantine, it's unbelievable that none of that is floating by right now, which I think really proves that there's a huge human component to our littering problem. And so knowing that people aren't outside a whole lot right now or able to go to campgrounds and picnic grounds, we're not seeing the trash that we used to. So we absolutely can make a huge difference.
Awesome, thank you. So we only have a few more minutes left, and I know we sent you a link on a craft that you could do. So our challenge to you is to print off that image, and you can use a toilet paper roll. I know these are hard to find these days, but you can use a toilet paper roll and create your own craft. I would love for you to send us some pictures of all of those. I don't think we're gonna have full time to do that today. But as part of this story, there are some questions and reflections that they have in their story. There's also a really cool write your own river story, which I think is really neat as I'm looking through the book, where you can put in different adjectives and verbs and nouns and animals, and you can kind of come up with your own story. And they've done such a nice job, and they've provided you with some of the words that you could use as samples. So I think that's really neat. But I would love to give you all a chance to answer some of their reflective questions. So I'm going to pick one. If you want to raise your hand, I will look at the screen. I know I have two different screens here, but I will unmute some of you. But please make sure you are going to answer the question I ask. And yes, Sam, we will let you know. I will send your parents an email on how you can buy this book. It is available at the University of Dayton bookstore, so they'll send it to you. But it's, I believe, $15 when I was looking this morning, but it's an awesome, awesome book. So definitely talk to your parents and see maybe you could get that as a gift, or maybe you could get that as a nice summer reading book for yourself. But
By the way, my birthday's coming up.
well, Sam, that sounds like a great birthday present for you then. So happy early birthday too. How old are you going to be, Sam?
8.
8. Well, happy 8th birthday. We'd sing to you, but I've tried to sing on Zoom and it does not work. So happy birthday. So let me ask one question. We'll have a bunch of you try and answer this. So think of your best answer of this. But if you could have a whole day on the river, so I know Mrs. Alexander's thinking this right now. If you could have a whole day on the river, and let's add to this question. It's 80 degrees and sunny outside. What would you do on the river for a whole day? So raise your hand. I'll call out some of you. What would you do on the river? So I don't know your name, but your username says DMPRXUT5G5VW. Do you want to answer? Your hands raised. You're going to have to unmute yourself. Yep, you. Absolutely. What's your name?
Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. What would you do on the river for your whole day?
I would try to find trash and pick it up.
I know Natalie and Sammy, that just melted their heart. They're so excited hearing that. Now, once you cleaned up all the garbage, what would you do?
I would probably try to find some cool fish.
Very neat. Very neat. Thanks for sharing, Olivia. Luke, how about you? What would you do? You're going to have to unmute yourself, bud.
I would go swimming.
Swimming? Awesome. Swimming's fun. Let's ask Natalie and Sammy, what would you do if you were on the river a whole day? I'm sure you spend plenty of time near the river. What would you do? What's your go-to activity on the river?
Probably kayaking.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. And you could pick up trash along the way as well. But yeah, we've definitely spent a full day kayaking on the river, and it's awesome.
That sounds awesome. All right. Your username or your screen name here is Jonathan. So do you want to go, Jonathan? What would you do on the river all day? And is your name Jonathan?
Yeah, so I would go like on a boat, like taking out trash and trying to find new species of fish.
Very cool. How about your sister? What would she do on the river?
My name is Grace, and I would like kayak, and I would kayak to like the big Miami River, from the little Miami River to the big Miami River.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
And
really.
I could use a trash tool to pick up trash that was in the Miami River and put it in a trash can that is on my boat, so people, and make sure our earth and our environment and if animals get stuck in there, like fish or sharks.
Very cool. Sharing. And Sam, I got to tell you, looking at the chat, I've got 3 or 4 messages of people wanting me to wish you happy birthday. So everyone wants you to know, Sam, happy birthday. Let's see. We'll take one more for this question, and then we'll ask one more question, and then we'll be on our way. But I know when I was talking to Natalie and Sammy yesterday, they've had a chance to share this book with lots of adults and college students. They really haven't got a chance to share it with students, so I know they're super excited. So they're thankful for you all being here. Carter, you've been typing away to me, so tell me what you would be doing on the river. What would you be doing, Carter?
I try to like find like any hurt, like not hurt animals, but like fish that are stuck in like plastic to try to help them get out. And I was also wondering if any of you guys have found any turtles.
And your name's Joseph. I'm sorry, I keep calling you Carter because that's what it says, but you're Joseph. So, Sammy and Natalie, in your travels down the river, have you seen any turtles?
I think we've seen at least one turtle every time we've kayaked on the river.
Yeah, we see them a lot.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All right, we'll ask one more question. We'll let 2 or 3 people answer, and then we're going to say our goodbyes. So let's see. I love this one, their last question, and I'm so amazed at how many helpful young ladies and young gentlemen we have here. You are all amazing with this, but what are some ways that you think we could help our rivers? Okay, buddy? Go ahead, Sam.
Stop the trash from going into the oceans, and yeah.
It's a great way to help our rivers. All right, so how else are some ways we can help our river? Abigail, go ahead.
Maybe we could, if we bring something like, if we were going canoeing and we stopped to take a break, if we like have any trash, we could make sure we take it with us and not just leaving it. It's ways to prevent trash from getting into the rivers.
That would be really neat. You should come up with some invention to keep all that trash from going in the river. All right.
Future science fair students.
There you go. All right, Reagan, go ahead. What would you do to help our rivers?
Maybe if we had trash and we didn't have a Dodge tin with us, we could take it with us, and when we did that, we could find a Dodge tin and throw it away.
That sounds excellent. So, my friends, we are going to be getting off here, but can we give one more big round of applause to Natalie and Sammy, who read and answered so many amazing questions for us. We thank you both for coming. Excellent. Thank you. I will send a follow-up email to all of your parents on where you could buy this amazing book. But please let me know if you have any more questions.